Have you ever loved someone so deeply that their mood could completely control yours? Have you ever woken up hoping for a message and felt your entire day collapse when it didn't come? Or maybe you replayed a conversation over and over, trying to rewrite it in your head, trying to fix something that wasn't even in your control? If yes, then this video is for you, because today we're diving deep into 10 powerful Marcus Aurelius suggestions that will teach you how to detach from everything you can't control, including people, emotions, relationships, outcomes, and especially your past. Before we get into it, make sure you subscribe to the channel and like this video, not for me, but for you, because what you're about to hear might honestly change the way you experience love, heartbreak, attachment, and even your own life. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the end, because each point connects to the next, like chapters in your own story. So let's begin. 1. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Have you ever loved someone so much that a single message from them could make your whole day light up, and their silence could destroy you in seconds? If yes, then this part is for you, because Marcus Aurelius starts with a truth we keep running away from. You have power over your mind, not outside events, not people, not their emotions, not their decisions, not whether they stay or leave. Let me take you into a memory you probably know too well. Imagine you're sitting on your bed, phone in hand. You're scrolling through old chats with someone you loved, maybe still love. You read the messages where they called you mine. You remember the late night calls, the promises, the little moments that felt eternal at the time. And then your mind whispers, what happened? Why aren't they here now? Why did they change? Tell me, haven't you asked yourself these questions 1,000 times? But here's the painful truth. Their actions aren't yours to control, but your thoughts, your reaction, your inner world, that is your territory. Think about how many nights you lost sleep replaying conversations that already ended. Think about how many mornings you ruined checking their online status. Think about how many times you blamed yourself for someone else's choice. You didn't suffer because they stopped loving you. You suffered because the mind refused to let go of the illusion that you could control what happened. But imagine something. What if, instead of trying to control outcomes, you controlled your thoughts about those outcomes? What if you stopped asking, why did they leave? And started asking, why am I letting this break me? What if you stopped begging your past to return and started teaching your mind to move forward? Because your real power, the power Marcus Aurelius talks about, begins the moment you stop fighting the uncontrollable and start mastering the controllable. You may not control whether someone chooses you, but you control whether you choose yourself. And that is where detachment begins. Not with coldness, not with indifference, but with understanding. Your mind is the only thing that truly belongs to you. 2. Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Has someone ever hurt you without ever touching you? Not physically, but with their silence, their change of tone, their coldness, or their sudden distance? If yes, then Marcus Aurelius is speaking directly to you. He said, choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. And at first glance, it sounds impossible. How can you choose not to be hurt when the person you cared for walked away? How can you choose calmness when someone you trusted broke your heart? But let's go deeper. Think about someone you once loved deeply, someone whose absence still echoes in certain songs, certain roads, certain late nights when your chest feels a little heavier. Think about the day they disappointed you, not just by leaving, but by proving they weren't the person you built in your mind. That moment, that sting, that ache, it felt like harm. But was it their action that hurt you? Or was it the meaning your mind attached to it? Was it the breakup that broke you? Or the story you told yourself afterward? I wasn't enough. I must have done something wrong. They chose someone better. I'll never be loved like that again. Tell me honestly, haven't you whispered these lines to yourself? But here's the hidden truth Marcus Aurelius is trying to show you. People's actions hurt less than our interpretations of those actions. You don't suffer because someone changed. You suffer because your mind calls it a personal attack. You suffer because you believe their choice defines your worth. But what if it doesn't? What if someone leaving wasn't harm, just life moving pieces around? What if their rejection wasn't punishment, just redirection? What if their silence wasn't cruelty, just clarity? The moment you choose not to take things personally, the moment you stop letting someone else's emotional weather become your internal storm, you'll realize something powerful. You were never truly harmed. You only felt harmed. And feelings change when thoughts change. You may not control what others do, but you absolutely control what you decide to make it mean. Choose peace. Choose understanding. Choose not to be harmed. And suddenly, nothing can break you from the inside again. 3. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Have you ever done something in the heat of emotion that you later regretted? Sent a message you shouldn't have? Said words you didn't mean? Acted out of fear, jealousy, or insecurity, and afterward felt like you weren't yourself? If yes, then this principle is yours. Think back to that one person you loved, truly loved. The one who made your heart feel young, the one whose presence made everything lighter. Now think about the arguments you had with them, not the big dramatic ones, but the tiny misunderstandings that grew into storms because of something you said, or something they said. Maybe one night they took too long to reply. Maybe they sounded different. Maybe you felt ignored. And instead of breathing, you reacted. Instead of asking calmly, you accused. Instead of trusting, you assumed. And in that moment, your heart took over your tongue. Words came out that weren't true. I guess you don't care. You're probably talking to someone else. You never loved me like I loved you. Tell me honestly, did those words come from truth or from fear? Marcus Aurelius' wisdom cuts right to the center of our emotional mistakes. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. He's telling you something simple but powerful. Your actions shape your peace. Your words shape your world. Your truth shapes your character. Imagine how many heartbreaks could have been avoided if, in moments of insecurity, we paused instead of reacted. If we spoke only what was true instead of what was emotional. If we acted from clarity instead of impulse. Imagine how many relationships, including the ones you lost, might have survived if both people followed this one rule. But here's the beauty. Even if that love is gone, you're still here. And you can choose better now. Better actions, better words, better truth. Because every time you choose what is right over what is easy, and truth over emotional impulse, you protect your peace, your dignity, and your future. The strongest version of you is not the one who wins arguments, but the one who stays aligned with truth, even when emotions tempt you away from it. 4. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Have you ever noticed how your whole mood changes depending on what you think about? How one memory can make your heart warm, and another can pull you into a darkness you didn't even know you were capable of. Marcus Aurelius wasn't being poetic when he said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." He meant it literally. Your inner world paints your entire life. Let me take you into a moment you've definitely lived. There was someone you once loved, maybe the person you still secretly think about when you're alone. Remember how just thinking about them used to color everything around you? The mornings felt brighter. The world felt kinder. Even the smallest tasks became lighter because love had colored your thoughts with hope. But then something changed. A misunderstanding, a slow distance, a silence that kept getting louder, and the thoughts began to shift. You started thinking things like, "I wasn't good enough. They found someone better. I always lose the people I love." And slowly, without even noticing, those thoughts dyed your soul a darker shade. Not because the world changed, but because your thoughts did. Tell me honestly, haven't you felt this? Haven't you seen how one negative thought can ruin your whole day, while one beautiful memory can heal you for a moment? This is what Marcus Aurelius meant. Your soul becomes the color of what you repeatedly think about. If you think you're broken, you'll feel broken. If you think you're unworthy, you'll move like someone unworthy. If you think nothing good is coming, you'll stop looking for good. But if you begin to think differently, not delusionally but intentionally, your soul begins to change color again. Imagine thinking, I deserve peace. I am healing. I am stronger than what hurt me. My story is not over. Your soul would start to brighten again. Your heart would breathe again. Your life would slowly return to color. So the real question is, what color are your thoughts painting your soul right now? And more importantly, is that the color you want to live in? You're allowed to choose differently, starting today. 5. When someone does wrong, it is because they believe it is right. Have you ever sat there, replaying someone's hurtful action again and again, asking yourself, how could they do this to me? How could they walk away like that? How could they choose someone else? How could they break my heart when I gave them everything? If yes, then Marcus Aurelius is giving you a truth that might sting at first, but it will free you afterward. When someone does wrong, it is because they believe it is right. At first it sounds strange, even unfair. But think back to the person you once loved so deeply. The one you trusted. The one you shared dreams with. The one you thought would stay forever. Think about the moment they hurt you. The betrayal, the lies, the sudden distance, or the silence that felt sharper than any words. You saw it as wrong, painfully wrong. But have you ever wondered, in their mind at that moment, it made sense? Maybe they weren't trying to destroy you. Maybe they were trying to protect themselves. Maybe they were confused. Maybe they were scared. Maybe they were choosing what felt safe or easy, not what was morally correct. Maybe they acted out of their wounds, not their wisdom. People rarely do wrong because they wake up and think, today I will cause pain. No, most of the time they justify it. They tell themselves a story that makes their actions seem right. Right for their comfort, right for their insecurity, right for their fears. And here's the part that helps you heal. Their choice was never a reflection of your worth, but of their understanding at that moment. You weren't abandoned because you were unworthy. You were abandoned because they believed leaving was right for them. You weren't lied to because you weren't lovable. You were lied to because truth felt too heavy for them. You weren't hurt because you were insignificant. You were hurt because they couldn't see clearly beyond their own emotions. So stop breaking your own heart by trying to understand someone else's choices. Their wrong was never about you. It was about their perspective, their wounds, their illusions. And once you understand that, you stop taking their actions personally. You stop carrying guilt that was never yours. You stop letting their choices define your value. You finally breathe again, because you realize the wrong they did was never a measurement of your heart, but a limitation of theirs. 6. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Life will never stop testing you. People will disappoint you. Situations will collapse. Plans will change. And circumstances will blindside you at the worst possible moment. But Stoicism teaches a liberating truth. Events themselves are neutral. Your interpretation gives them power. Two people can face the same hardship, yet one breaks while the other becomes unshakable. The difference lies entirely in response, not event. When something happens, you always have two layers of experience. 1. The external event, often outside your control. 2. Your internal judgment, always within your control. Most suffering comes from the second layer. Your thoughts, exaggerations, stories, and emotional reactions. When you pause, breathe, and choose your thoughts deliberately, you regain control. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, how can I respond in a way that strengthens me? This shift transforms irritations into discipline, setbacks into strategy, and adversity into training. You stop being a victim of circumstances and become the author of your own conduct. Ultimately, the quality of your life becomes the quality of your responses, not the randomness of events. This is the essence of emotional mastery. Control the reaction, and no event can control you. And the universe is change. Life is opinion. Everything around you is constantly shifting. People evolve. Situations transform. Opportunities appear and disappear. And even your own thoughts, moods, and priorities change with time. Change is not an interruption. It is the default state of the universe. When you resist it, you create suffering. When you accept it, you create peace. But Marcus Aurelius adds the second half: life is opinion. This means your experience of reality is shaped less by events and more by the meaning you assign to them. Something feels good or bad because of the story you attach to it, not because of the event itself. Two people can face the same change. One sees a threat. The other sees a chance to grow. The difference is not the world. It is the lens. Understanding this gives you tremendous power. You cannot always control the external, but you can control the internal narrative. You cannot stop change, but you can decide what it means to you. When you embrace change as natural, you stop clinging to the past and fearing the future. And when you understand that life is shaped by your judgments, you gain the ability to rewrite your perspective at any moment. The world transforms endlessly, but your stability comes from within. Shift your opinion and you shift your experience. Ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary? How many times have you been hurt, stressed, or drained because you carried things you didn't truly need? A fight, a memory, a regret, a person, a habit. Be honest. Now imagine this. You're sitting on your bed late at night, scrolling through your old messages. One chat stops you. Their name. The person you once loved, like they were your entire world. Your heart tightens for a moment. A flash of memories. The late night calls. The inside jokes. The whispered promises. The pain of the final goodbye. And then Marcus Aurelius' words whisper into your mind. Ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary? Is this pain necessary? Is this overthinking necessary? Is carrying them inside your heart every night still necessary? Most of us don't lose to the world. We lose to the things we refuse to let go of. This simple question, is this necessary, is not just about tasks or decisions. It's about emotional clarity. It's about cutting away what destroys your peace. It's about freeing yourself from people and thoughts that no longer serve your growth. Think about your life right now. How many unnecessary battles are you fighting? How many unnecessary fears are you feeding? How many unnecessary conversations are you replaying in your mind? Sometimes the heaviest things we carry are not in our hands, but in our hearts. When you ask this question honestly, everything becomes clearer. You stop reacting to every insult. You stop wasting energy on people who don't value you. You stop drowning in imaginary scenarios. You stop holding on to love stories that ended long ago. You begin to live intentionally. You begin to choose peace over drama. You begin to protect your mental and emotional space like it's sacred. So the next time anger rises, the next time someone tries to pull you into their chaos, the next time your past knocks on your door, pause for a moment, breathe, and whisper to yourself, is this necessary? Is this worth my time, my energy, my heart? Most of the time, the answer will be no. And in that no, you will find your freedom. 9. Remind yourself that you will never live this day again. If today were the last day you could ever speak to the person you love, would you still stay silent? If this were the last morning you'd ever wake up with the chance to change your life, would you still scroll your day away? Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you will never live this day again. And when you hear that, it hits somewhere deep, doesn't it? Think about it. This moment you're living right now, this breath, this heartbeat, this thought, will never return. And yet, how easily we waste our days worrying, overthinking, holding grudges, waiting for the perfect time. Let me tell you a story you might recognize, because in a way, it might be your story too. There was someone you loved. Not casually, not halfway, but fully, deeply, in that rare way that changes your heartbeat. You thought they'd always be there, so you postponed feelings, postponed conversations, postponed honesty. And then one day, they weren't there anymore. Not because something dramatic happened, but because life just moved. Time shifted, people faded, and you realized you will never get that day back. The day you didn't call, the day you didn't say I miss you, the day you ignored your heart. That pain, that regret, it teaches you what Marcus Aurelius really meant. When you remember that you'll never live this day again, you stop living on autopilot. You stop waiting for perfect moments. You stop taking people for granted. You start showing up for yourself and for those you love. Suddenly, small things become beautiful. The way sunlight hits the wall, the laughter of someone you care about, the peaceful silence of morning. You speak more honestly. You forgive faster. You choose peace over drama. You tell people you love them while you still can, because tomorrow isn't promised, but today is yours. And if you live it fully without fear, without hesitation, you will never look back with regret. So right now, as you're watching this, ask yourself, if today never comes again, did you live it the way your heart wanted? If not, start now. Start today, before today becomes just another memory you wish you had lived better. 10. When you arise in the morning, think what a privilege it is to be alive. When the alarm rings tomorrow morning, will you wake up with gratitude or just with obligation? Marcus Aurelius reminds us, when you arise in the morning, think what a privilege it is to be alive. And it's a privilege we often forget until life forces us to remember. Think about the person you once loved, truly loved. The one who made your heart race, who laughed in a way that made even ordinary mornings magical. The one who held you close during storms, or even during quiet nights when words weren't needed. Do you remember the mornings when their warmth filled the room? And every sunrise felt like a promise. Every day felt like a gift simply because you were together. Now imagine those mornings after they were gone. The bed feels empty. The sunlight feels colder. The silence feels endless. And yet you still wake up. Even when life isn't perfect. Even when heartbreak lingers. Even when hope feels fragile, you are alive. And that is a miracle in itself. Detachment, Stoicism, and Marcus's wisdom all point here. Every breath is a privilege. Every heartbeat is a gift. Every morning is a blank page. You may not control the people you love, the circumstances you face, or the heartbreak that comes your way. But you can control this, your awareness, your gratitude, your presence. So the next time you wake up, pause, breathe, look around. Notice the light, the air, the world continuing even when you feel small. Think of the privilege it is to still be here, still able to love, to grow, to forgive, to rebuild. Because life doesn't guarantee tomorrow. It only gives you this moment, and every morning is your reminder to cherish it. Love, heartbreak, pain, joy, they all exist. But they cannot take away the gift of life itself. When you truly see this, gratitude becomes your first thought, your foundation, your armor. So wake up tomorrow and whisper to yourself, I am alive, I am here, I am free to live today fully. Because that simple acknowledgement, that recognition, changes everything. Closing script. So, after hearing these 10 Marcus Aurelius suggestions, think about this. What is one thing you've been trying to control that you now realize you must let go? A person? A memory? A feeling? An outcome? Whatever it is. You deserve peace. You deserve clarity. You deserve a life that's not controlled by forces outside your hands. Practice these principles. Live them. Repeat them. And slowly you'll become the kind of person who is grounded, strong, unshakable. The kind of person who controls their mind, their emotions, and their direction. With that said, thanks for watching. And until next time,